Hello and welcome to this video review or a video overview of a new scope, the Swarovski Z8i 1.7 to 13.3 by 42. As you probably know, the Z8i were really big news of 2016. This series of scopes was first introduced at IWA in Germany, in Nuremberg, in March of 2016. And deliveries started somewhere in the summer of 2016. So this particular model is the second in line. 1 to 8 is the smallest, 1.7 to 13.3 is the second smallest. It's very slim, very elegant, and I think this scope is a particularly good choice if you have a single barrel break barrel rifle. Let's say something like Merkel or Blaser K95, something like that, then this is a particularly good choice. And it's also a very good choice if you do a lot of stalking. It has a really wide field of view, more than 25 meters per 100 meters on 1.7. That means that you can even use it on driven hunts, especially because the illumination is very powerful, so you can set it at very bright daytime setting, and you can use it on a driven hunt with a wide field of view and a bright red dot. Z8 scopes are optically even better than the Z6i, which they, how to say, not really replace, but they're like an upgrade. So they offer really high resolution right to the edge of the field of view, and also the light transmission rate is a little bit better. Not noticeable, but still a little bit better. It is hard to do a great leap in this department. This particular scope is 33 centimeters long, which is quite long if you consider other 1.5 to 6 or similar scopes with 42 millimeter objective lens, but still in the world of all the big scopes with 50 millimeter and 56 millimeter lenses, this is still not that much, and it weighs only 620 grams. It has a 30 millimeter tube, so you can either order a version with no rail for tube mounting, or like this with rail. If possible, always choose rail. The mounting solution with rail is much better than with rings. You can also see a really nice detail here. They made additional room for rail mounting. Not really needed that much, but it's nice. So as you can see, the attention to the detail on every aspect of this scope is quite amazing. Compared to the Z6i, you can also see the design of the illumination system on the eyepiece. It's a little bit different, smaller. It doesn't houses a battery anymore, and you can see the buttons from plus and minus are on the top. The battery is now in the side turret. With an exception of 1 to 8, now all models feature parallax. So previous 1.7 to 10 model had no parallax adjustment, now this one has. So it goes, I would say, from somewhere 35 meters or something like that all the way to infinity, and it clicks on 100. So this is a default setting. Really, really nice. Even though I think that majority of people will never use parallax, and on a scope like this is also understandable. There are a couple of different reticles offered in this scope. They're all in the second focal plane, and they're all very, very thin. I think that they are the thinnest among all hunting rifle scopes. They're all illuminated, and as you can see, the illumination system, the way how it functions, didn't change from the Z6. So we have two presettings: daytime bright illumination and low light illumination. You can see a small moon inside here and a small sun. Then plus and minus buttons for finer adjustment. The illumination can be really fine-tuned for any kind of situation, and it has almost infinite numbers of or infinite levels of intensity. Really, really great. It also has a position sensor. That means that if a scope is completely still, if you put it in a closet or anywhere in a safe on a rifle, it will turn itself off. It will also turn itself off if you put it sideways in either way, or up or down. That means that you're not in the shooting position. It will automatically turn off and save the battery. So that means that the battery life will be much longer, and when you put the scope back into the firing position, it turns off immediately. It is incredibly fast. However, if you don't wish to use it, you can still, if you use the manual, you can find how it is possible to switch off this function completely. What is also important with this scope, normally made in Austria, it comes with 10 years warranty. This is one of the two models. 128 also has this feature, which has an illuminated flex reticle. There is no sign on the scope that it has a flex reticle, but that means that you can choose to have either a normal 4A reticle with an illuminated dot in the center, or you can have a big circle around the dot which is also illuminated. But if you turn it off, it completely disappears. It's a really, really great function, and it's something new in rifle scopes. That means we knew before the flash dot technology from Schmidt and Bender, where the dot completely disappeared after it was turned off. But now in these scopes you have the whole circle which disappears, and this is really, really nice. If you look at the turrets are completely new and completely redesigned compared to the Z6, and the click is nicer, the feel is nicer, it's easier to reset them. But what is most important is that it's really easy to use ballistic turret on them, or a BDC turret. So the new BT Turret Flex, it can go on and off really easily. I don't have it here to show it, but you can see in my other videos of Z8i. It's really easy to use, and I think at the moment this is probably the best BDC turret on the market. It is plastic, that's true, but the functionality, it's really great. You can even set everything on a way when it's not connected on the scope, let's say in a shop or anywhere with your gunsmith, then you just put it on a scope which was zeroed, and it will work. And if you don't need it, you can remove it anytime. It's really nice, and you can either attach it to the elevation or to windage. The clicks are 1 centimeter with all models on 100 meters, and one of the caps also houses the battery, the spare battery, if by any chance you do run out of battery life. So in this regard, I would say that the improvement over the previous series was quite big. So if I make a short summary, this is really a perfect scope for stocking and a perfect scope for elegant rifles, especially drop barrel rifles. It has great optical performance and a really wide field of view, which even enables you to use this scope on driven hunts. What I also have to say is that the eye box is great. So you immediately, when you put your eye behind the eyepiece lens, you immediately get the picture. So in this regard, it is a remarkable scope. Where there is room for improvement, normally, and hopefully that not so soon, we all wait on Z10 or Z12, or we will see how this super zoom scopes will advance. But this is not a real complaint about this scope. The Z8 is quite great, and I think that every normal user would barely ever need more than 8 times zoom. I would prefer if the scope will go all the way down to 1.5. This would be nice, and to have maybe additional 1 meter of field of view. And I also would prefer if the scope would just be 1.7 to 13. I think that the name is a little bit too complicated. Apart from that, I think it's a perfect scope. And at the moment, probably one of the best, if not the best, 42mm scope, rifle scope on the market. Thank you for watching. If you have any additional questions, please send us an email, check our webpage where you can find more information, or use comments of this video. Please also subscribe.